seek recognition to give notice of my intent to raise a question of the privileges of the House. The form of the resolution is as follows. Declaring the office of Speaker of the House of Representatives to be vacant. This is the uniparty for the American people watching.
Gentlelady will suspend.
Well, hello, everyone. It's just another Wednesday on Capitol Hill. I want to say that I appreciate the show of confidence from my colleagues to defeat this misguided effort. That is certainly what it was. As I've said from the beginning, and I've made clear here every day, I intend to do my job. I intend to do what I believe to be the right thing, which is what I was elected to do, and I'll let the chips fall where they may. In my view, that is leadership, which we live. Members have just voted. They made their voices heard on the motion to vacate matter, and now we have very important work to do for the country. There are a lot of things to fix. Last week, we announced a house-wide effort to crack down on anti-Semitism on campus. This morning, we introduced legislation to fortify American elections and ensure that only American citizens can vote. I'm glad that this distraction is not going to inhibit that important work and all of the other things that are on the table and on the agenda for us right now. Hopefully, this is the end of the personality politics and the frivolous character assassination that has defined the 118th Congress. It's regrettable. It's not who we are as Americans, and we're better than this. We need to get beyond it. The Speaker of the House serves the whole House. That's the job, everybody. But I am a lifelong movement conservative Republican, and I intend to continue to govern in accordance with those core principles. We believe in the core principles. I call them the 7 core principles of American conservatism, but they're also the core principles of America itself. I believe in individual freedom, limited government, the rule of law, peace through strength, fiscal responsibility, free markets, and human dignity. Those are the guiding principles that inform our work and that we work for every day here to pursue, to ensure that all Americans have more liberty and opportunity and security. And those foundations are in jeopardy right now. We need steady hands at the wheel. We need people who understand what made America the strongest, the most powerful, the most free, the most successful, the most benevolent nation in the history of the world. We have to fight for that every day because we're in a battle between 2 competing visions for what America is and what it's going to be. And that's what I'm about every day here, and I'll continue that. We have important work, not only to keep the House majority, but to grow the majority, because that will be necessary to help save this country. And the work that we have to elect a Republican president, and we're on that as well. In this moment, the country desperately needs a functioning Congress, and that's what the overwhelming majority of the members in this body demonstrated today. I'm proud to serve in this position. It's not one that I aspired to. It's not one that I ever expected to have or planned for, but it is the honor of my life and career to do this, and I will do it so long as this body will have me do that. We have a great vision for the country. We're not deterred. We have many problems to fix. And I'm going to tell you what you all have heard me say many times. I believe in the goodness of America. I believe in the future of this country. I believe, as Reagan said, as he reminded us what Lincoln originally said, we are the last best hope of man on earth. And by God's grace, we'll save this country. And I'll keep fighting every day to make sure that happens. Thank you for being here.
What is your message to Marjorie Taylor Greene? Mr. Speaker.
Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene has struck a defiant tone after the failure of her bid to remove Mike Johnson as Speaker of the House of Representatives. She had demanded Mr. Johnson be kicked out due to his support for a $61 billion aid package for Ukraine. However, Democrats joined Republicans in a 359-43 vote to kill her motion. On Thursday, Ms. Greene posted on X, formerly Twitter, "Democrats voted to save Johnson because they knew it was impossible to take control of the House. They want to keep Johnson because he's given them everything they want. The good news this morning is now the American people have been shown the truth. The long-telegraphed motion proved to be a rare act of defiance against the party's presumptive presidential nominee, Donald Trump. He had previously voiced support for the House Speaker and called the drive to oust him unfortunate. Ms. Greene's speech on the House floor was met by loud boos from other members of the chamber. Only two other Republican members of Congress supported Ms. Greene's motion, Thomas Massie and Paul Gosar. Joined by Mr. Massie, Ms. Greene stood on the House floor and criticized Mr. Johnson for a series of compromises he has struck with Democrats, who hold a majority in the Senate. "This is the uniparty for the American people watching," she said of politicians in the chamber as they booed her. By passing the Democrats' agenda and handcuffing the Republicans' ability and influence legislation, our elected Republican Speaker Mike Johnson has aided and abetted the Democrats and the Biden administration in destroying our country, she added. Mr. Johnson could be seen walking around the House floor after Ms. Greene began her motion, with Republican supporters shaking his hand and patting him on the back. Shortly after the vote, Mr. Johnson said he hoped this would end the personality politics and the frivolous character assassination that has defined the 118th Congress. "I'm glad that this distraction is not going to inhibit that important work and all the other things that are on the table and on the agenda for us right now," he added. At the time of Ms. Greene's speech, Mr. Trump posted a message on his Truth Social platform calling on Republicans to reject her motion to vacate the Speaker's post. While Mr. Trump began his post with, "I absolutely love Marjorie Taylor Greene," he told Republican members of Congress that, "This is not the time to remove Mr. Johnson. If we show disunity, which will be portrayed as chaos, it will negatively affect everything," he said, adding that the Republican Speaker was a "good man who is trying very hard." In March, Ms. Greene filed the motion that would eventually trigger the vote on Mr. Johnson's removal, though it was unclear when or if she would advance it. She did so on Wednesday by forcing the Republican-led chamber to hold a vote on the House Leader's position in no more than 2 legislative days. The same legislative move was used to remove former Republican Speaker Kevin McCarthy in the autumn, leaving the chamber without an elected leader for 3 weeks. Democrats made the unusual move to back a Republican House Speaker due to the razor-thin margins in the chamber, but they recently criticized Mr. Johnson for holding several meetings with her this week. When Speaker Johnson meets with her for hours, the American people should be asking, "What is Marjorie Taylor Greene extracting from the Speaker?" Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu said on Tuesday, according to Axios. On Tuesday, Mr. Johnson said the talks were not a negotiation, and denied that Republican leaders were considering any concessions for her support.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share.